Today, we will discuss 5 of the top teams that you can play with in Axie Classic. I will start with the team I play, the Unko team. This team is extremely strong, and as long as your opponent has a dusk, reptile, or plant in their team, you have a very strong chance to win. The strategy here is built around unko, which is obviously the most important card in the build. It applies stench to the Axie it hits, meaning that in the next 3 rounds, your Axies will skip the stench Axie and will hit the other Axies on your opponent's team. In an ideal scenario, you will end up facing your backline mech against your opponent's front plant, which is an easy win. Of course, it is important to note that this team has a hard counter, which includes teams consisting of 3 aqua, bird, or dawn Axies. Let's look at the cards and how we can combine them. We will start with the aqua, which is obviously the most important Axie here. We need unko on the horn, goldfish on the back, and Nemo on the tail, which is our energy gain card. I use risky fish on the mouth, but lamb is also very strong here. In some matchups, it is even stronger. Let's switch to the mech. I play a 50 speed mech with high damage using Twin Tail, which can easily clear any plant or dusk with 4 cards. I like Twin Tail because it deals almost 100 damage at 0 cost. Of course, you can use variations. I've played it with a standard Nutcracker mech with Hero, which was also good and much cheaper. I think the best mech for this build includes Balloon, Kestrel, and Double Nutcracker with 53 speed. This combination allows you to fear enemies, disable their horn, and deliver high Nutcracker damage. However, this mech is quite expensive. The plant I play with this team is unique. I like the high damage that Risky Beast adds, and the durability that Herbivore provides. However, you can be flexible with this Axie. You can play it with a standard battle plant, or with the premium turnip version. Before we continue, let's take a moment to acknowledge the sponsor of this video, my Lunation code, AxiePros. Using my Lunation code would mean a lot and greatly support the channel. Also, if you find yourself in need of assistance with team building, feel free to reach out to me on Discord or X. It's completely free of charge. The next archetype I will discuss is probably the strongest option in the game. This is because you have a constant back and front, and you can switch the mid according to meta changes. The setup includes a backdoor bird at the back, a turnip plant at the front, and a healing Axie in the middle. Here, I'm using a teal shell aqua, but you can switch to a god bug, Hatsune plant, or any other Axie you think might be good for the build. The good thing about this team is that you can buy 5 Axies and have 3 different teams that are quite solid and strong against various opponents. If you need help with choosing the Axies, you can find me on Discord. I will be happy to help. Let's look at the bird. It is a standard backdoor bird with toothless bite and hair. Toothless bite is considered stronger than Little Owl because it targets the furthest enemy, while Little Owl targets the fastest. Little Owl can also be used as a cheaper option. Hair is good for the card draw and solid damage against plants, dusks, and reptiles. The must-have cards are Eggshell and Pigeon Post, so you can transfer Aroma to your opponent's backline Axie and later sacrifice the bird. If you want to spend more money, you can look for a Shrimp Dawn. It is better because it can't be targeted by Turnip and also has more health points. It is important to note that if you are not a backdoor player, you can use a standard Tri-Feather bird or an Indes bird for the build. These are great Axies that can still bring you to the top in certain cases. If you ask me, it is better to have both options. Let's focus on the plant. I am using an interesting plant that I found in our guild inventory. It has Turnip, Cerastes, Kotaro, and Wall Gecko. This setup is a real bird assassin with great durability options for adding shield and damage reduction plus energy gain. I would say the standard Turnip with Herbivore and Cattail is probably better, as card draws are very important here. Although you can play this build successfully with a standard battle plant, I believe Turnip is important when you face mirror teams. If your bird gets assassinated first, you can still hit their bird with Turnip and catch up. I took this aqua from our guild inventory. It is a solid option for the middle of the team, but not the best one. The best option here would be having Pumpkin instead of Goldfish on a Dawn body. This way, you can scale up to 300 shield, which would significantly increase the teal shell damage. The Dawn body is better because many players are using Razor Bite, which heals from aquas. Another solid option for this build is to have a Hatsune plant in the middle. My Hatsune plant is one of the strongest Axies in the game as it has it all: durability, anti-healing, energy gain, healing, and range disabling. This Axie is very rare and expensive, so you can use a standard Hatsune plant with Bidens, Cactus, and Mosquito. As I mentioned earlier, this archetype can be used with many more Axies. You can play it with a snail shell bug, a gravel ant plant, or even a high damage mech or aqua. The next archetype we will cover today is the Lunge team. This strong team consists of 3 durable Axies that deal massive damage. I don't have a Lunge team in my inventory, so I will show you a team that is currently ranked 37th on the leaderboard. This team is built around scaly spear horns that, when used in a chain, deal massive damage to any type of Axie. The usual meta in the past was with 2 identical cattail dusks and a dusk reptile or aqua at the back. This team is a bit different, but it is still solid, as we can see. The first Axie we will look at is the front dusk. It is a standard dusk with Goda, cattail, scaly spear, and timber. You could also use sandal. I think it would be stronger with it. Let's look at the middle Axie. It is a dusk with scarab, razor bite, scaly spear, and cottontail. This can also be used at the back. It is important to note that this team requires 1 0-cost energy gain card, so if we use it in the middle, we wouldn't need one at the back. In this case, if we use cattail on the tail, we could use Nemo or cottontail at the back. Scarab is a must here to tackle god bugs and teal shell Axies. Razor Bite provides solid shield and is very effective against aquas, but we could also use Goda or catfish. The back Axie here is very strong. It is an aqua with spiky wing, scaly spear, risky fish, and koi. I believe spiky wing is the strongest back option for koi aquas, as it gives a great advantage against durable Axies like reflect reptiles or teal shell Axies. As I mentioned, you can be quite flexible with the Lunge team, and here you could play a reptile or a dusk. If you are unsure which Axies to buy, you can find me on Discord and I can help you choose. The gameplay of this particular team should be similar to the gameplay of old-school double aqua teams, so if you are used to playing koi aquas, I guess you can easily adapt to this one. The fourth entry here is for a poison team with a backdoor mech at the back. As you can see, we have a player ranked 13th with this team, so it is quite strong. It hasn't changed much since Season 19 of Axie Classic, so I will not spend much time talking about it. The strategy is to infect the opponent's Axies with numerous poison stacks while hitting different targets with the backdoor. The plant and dusk are a must here, while the mech can be switched with a dusk with Toothless Bite, Garish Worm, Grass Snake, and Cerestes. Number 5 is another team that has been strong since the good old Axie Classic days. It consists of a 39-speed reflect reptile at the back, with an aqua in the middle and a dusk or plant at the front. The strategy here is simple. Your goal is to clear the front and gain some cards and energy for the reptile, which can then clear the other 2 Axies. This team has a notable weakness though. It is hard countered by healing bugs and plants. Of course, there are other strong archetypes, but I can't show all of them in a single video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. There is more to come. See you next time.